In a city choked by the dust of war, where darkness had swallowed the streetlights and hollowed out the buildings, hope was a currency few could afford. The power grid had long since collapsed, and with it, the hum of daily life. Now, the only sounds were the whisper of the wind through shattered windows and the distant, menacing rumble of conflict. Fear was a thick, cold fog that seeped under every door and settled in every heart. In the heart of this oppressive gloom, inside a small, unassuming house, lived a young girl named Mira. She was the keeper of a precious treasure, a single, slender candle. It was the last one in the neighborhood, perhaps even the last one in the city. This wasn't just wax and wick to Mira. It was a beacon, a fragile but defiant spark against the encroaching night. Every evening, as shadows deepened and painted the world in shades of gray and black, Mira would perform a small ritual. She would carefully strike a match, its brief flare a miniature sunrise, and touch it to the wick. The flame would sputter to life, a tiny dancer casting warm, golden light across the room. Her small flame became a magnet for the broken-spirited. The elderly Mrs. Gable from next door would shuffle over, her face a roadmap of worry, and sit by the candle's glow, finding a moment of peace to knit away her anxieties. A group of children, their laughter stolen by the war, would gather around Mira as she used the flickering light to read stories from a worn-out book. The tales were of faraway lands, brave knights, and happy endings worlds away from their own reality. But for a few precious hours, the light made those worlds feel real. The flame was a guide for those who got lost in the labyrinth of darkened streets, a tiny lighthouse in a sea of despair. One night, the war came closer than ever before. The front door of Mira's house was thrown open with a violent crash, and a soldier, his face smeared with grime and exhaustion, stormed in. His rifle was held at the ready, his eyes scanning the room, hard and cold. They landed on the candle. "Blow it out," he commanded, his voice a harsh rasp. "Light is a target. It attracts danger. You're putting everyone at risk." The small group huddled in the room flinched. Fear, which had been held at bay by the light, rushed back in. But Mira didn't move. She looked from the soldier's grim face to the small, steady flame of her candle. It was so fragile, a single breath could extinguish it forever. Yet, in its unwavering dance, she saw immense strength. She met the soldier's gaze, her own eyes clear and calm. Without it, she said softly, her voice carrying a weight far beyond her years, "We are already lost. This light, it's how we know we're still here. It's how we find each other." The soldier's jaw tightened. He had seen the horrors of the night, the real dangers that lurked in the shadows. He knew what a single point of light could mean to an enemy spotter. He raised his hand, ready to repeat his command, perhaps to snuff the flame out himself. His gaze softened as he truly saw the scene before him for the first time. He saw the old woman's hands, busy and purposeful. He saw the children's faces wrapped with a story, their fear momentarily forgotten. He saw the quiet community that had formed around this tiny, impossible flame. He saw not a target, but a sanctuary. In that small, warm circle of light, the soldier saw a reflection of a world he was fighting for, a world he had almost forgotten existed. The warmth of the candle seemed to seep into his own chilled bones, thawing a part of him that had been frozen for a long, long time. The hardness in his eyes melted away, replaced by a profound weariness and a flicker of something else longing. Slowly, deliberately, he lowered his rifle. He walked over and, to everyone's surprise, sank down to the floor, finding a space among the children. He didn't say another word, but his presence was no longer a threat. He simply sat, watching the flame as if it were a long-lost friend. He stayed through the night, a silent guardian, warmed by the same light he had come to extinguish. When the first pale rays of dawn finally pierced the horizon, filtering through the grime on the windows, the city was still there, bruised, battered, but not broken. The soldier rose, gave Mira a single solemn nod, and left as quietly as he had arrived, a different man than the one who had burst through the door. The war would continue to rage, and the darkness would return each night. But inside that small house, the light would also return. The city endured, not because of armies or strategies, but because one young girl understood a simple truth. Hope is not the absence of darkness, but the courage to light a candle in the middle of it. She refused to let the light die, and in doing so, she kept the soul of her city alive. Thank you for joining me for this story. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that seeks to find the light in the darkness. Stay safe and always look for the flame.